Hey, what's up, y'all? It's me again, and I'm back on my way to a location with a shorter distance, but nonetheless a location. And um, I wanted to just express some thoughts that I've had and just, reflect. If you're new here, my name is Fran, and I talk about all things that come to my mind. And be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you comment, please be respectful. I'm just sharing my thoughts. It's okay to disagree, you know, but it's not okay to be disrespectful for no reason. Not that anybody has yet. Well, yeah, some people have, but yeah, it's just not okay. But just really quick, I just wanted to share that when it comes to friendship, having space for people is important, right? I did not know how to emotionally regulate my thoughts and my feelings and things that were occurring to me for a long time. I struggled with that, wholeheartedly. I really did. And I think that really affected how I responded to people and how I allowed people in my orbit, because I always felt like, I have to defend why you feel the way that you feel about me, and it's false, right? Like, your perception is off, or something would happen, just something would happen that would hurt me, would affect me. And so, I've been guilty of spazzing. I've been guilty of being angry. I've been guilty of speaking very aggressively because I just can't believe what happened, or I can't believe what was said. And once again, I always say this: perception is reality. Sometimes people do and say things because of how they perceive what you're doing and saying to them. And then also, there's come a time where people they're just malicious, and they have an intention to why they're doing what they're doing. So it's very important to just be careful when you are out here in this world. It's all about having discernment. That goes also with friendships too. People may mean well, right? And I spoke about this in the last video that I think I posted yesterday. When the Bible says don't give your pearls to swine, it's people use that as a dig, but what it really means is we all pretty much don't waste your time and your energy on conversations that are futile, that people are just going to take what you're saying and roll in the dirt with it. They're essentially flip it and reverse it. Sometimes you don't know that will happen until you see it occurring right in your face. And once you get that realization, you have to make certain decisions to preserve those pearls. And those pearls could be nuggets of wisdom. Those pearls could be your energy. Those pearls could be anything that's precious, your time, which would be equivalent and which would be synonymous to energy. And I think that sometimes even our good friends, even people who mean well, even people who need our love and support, there has to be a cap and a limit to it. And on several occasions, I've spoken to my best friend, who, she admittedly has a short attention span. She has ADHD, and I'm grateful to her because she still has created space and time for me when I didn't know how to emotionally regulate properly. It's starting to rain, so if you hear those pellets, it's raining outside. Nonetheless, it still doesn't take away from the fact that, number one, she didn't have boundaries to, she didn't have like set standards and boundaries to stop me when I would be going off. Sometimes she would fall asleep. Sometimes she would change the subject without realizing, quote unquote. And I don't know that it's, I think it's just that neurological disorder that is just like, I'm going to change the subject because this isn't interesting me now. My attention is moving, so I need to hold on to something that's going to keep my attention. And, you know, on the flip side, it could also just be that she didn't want to talk about it anymore. She didn't care, so she had to find ways to change the subject to not, you know, fall asleep or be bored. Now, we don't, like, we've spoken about it. She's apologized, and I've also given her grace to know that it's not just me that she does this to. I've seen her do this. I think I knew when I saw her do this, and she was completely engaged in a conversation. She was like into it, and then she changed the subject on another person when she was so engaged, and she apologized profusely, like, I don't know, oh my God, I don't know why I did that. And it made me realize that, okay, she's not doing this intentionally most of the time, or if not all the time. She really is at an attention deficit. Some people really just don't give a crap, and they will just maliciously move on and change subjects and try to, on the flip side, hold you back when they can't emotionally regulate, when they need to let it out and express themselves. And so, you know, I think there's a time and a place for that. I think it's important to let people really, really, really speak out exactly how they feel, really speak out what is hurting them, what is breaking them, really, really, really talk through, because the talk through is important. We need to talk through. Sometimes we need to process what has hurt us, because a lot of times if we don't do that, we are holding in negativity that will otherwise destroy us, right? I would say this: when you are on the listening end and you are trying to hold space for a person and let them speak and let them be in that space of, I just want to let it out. And for me, I give space for people to do that, because I also remember it's reciprocal. People have done it for me, right? I think the difference for me is, these days, now that I've hit the 4th floor of life, I don't have the time and the energy and the capacity to go back and forth. Not that I'm arguing with the person, but like, oh, okay, I see the way that you feel this way, but what about this and what about that? After a while, doing that for hours on end becomes draining, right? And it's draining for anybody. And even if you are interested, and even if you care, I have to go to sleep, or I have things to do. And what I found myself doing is, let's say it's a 3-hour conversation, and in the midst of that, I probably get like a 4-hour, like, collectively to speak, right? The other person is obviously pouring their heart out, this, that, and the third. And you're spending the majority of the time listening. 2/3 of the time listening, if it's a 3-hour conversation. What my hour would encapsulate is me feeling like I have to share a story, so that it can be equal. Like, oh, I'm sharing too, you know, so now you're going to listen. And Like, this happened recently and God had to convict me and was like, you ain't even have to do all that. Like, you're trying to make this fair, and sometimes your purpose in that is to just listen to the person, provide your insights, have the discernment to not allow all of your energy and your time to go into this moment. You need to have standards on when you're gonna cut it off and when you go to bed. It is my guilt of holding people when I could not emotionally regulate. And so now I am in a space where I am healthier in that. So now when I see another person that was in my position, or they need to flesh things out and talk things through, I feel like I have to give them that space, which I think you should, but it has to come with boundaries. We evolve and we change, and all I'm saying is that I've come to a place where I don't think I can do this for hours on end, because I don't think, truthfully, as we grow more, involved in our lives, and things start to grow and develop, I don't think anybody does, right? Prayer is probably the best thing that you could do for a person. Being there is probably secondary. Being there as in listening and providing insight and being helpful and supportive is also. But the complete opposite of that is not giving people the space, not giving people the grace. And some people are so selective and protective of their energy that they just not tolerating, like, we gonna do this again. Like, you have people like that they just don't got the energy. They're gonna explain it to you one time, maybe thrice, and they're done. They're not, I have some family members like that you're just supposed to tough it out and just move forward. Why are you still talking about this, and the third? And they can't emotionally regulate on the flip side because they are emotionally unavailable, or they're emotionally stunted or limited, right? Or it might not be that they're emotionally unavailable. They just don't have the grace for you, right? Or they don't have the grace for certain people because maybe they just feel like this person is talking too much, and they perceive this person to be someone that is either annoying, nagging, or sometimes they don't see you as a person that should be even emotional about certain situations, right? So now they're judging you and just telling you to, like, they don't got the capacity for you. Those aren't your people, because you now realize that they just ain't got it. They don't got it for you, or they just don't got it for anybody else. I would say this: if I know that I can hear a person out, if I know that I can walk through something with a person, and I know that the first time they appeared to hear me and, the conversation took a while, if I see that the next time it's going in a similar direction, it's up to me and it's up to you to prevent forest fire. I'm just playing. It's up to all of us to be like, I don't want to get drained. I don't have the capacity. It's up to us to determine our capacity, not because it's only emotionally draining. Sometimes you don't have the capacity because you simply don't have the time. Sometimes you don't have the capacity because you simply don't have the words. Sometimes you don't have the capacity because if you're being led by God, sometimes God is telling you to cut it, right? And that's fine, right? And I think if it's a understanding person, like the situation, the conversation I had, recently, they're not going to penalize you or make you feel bad because you have to get off the phone or that you have to cut the conversation short. They will understand that this person is doing all that they can do to be there for me, but now they have to go. Now they need to veg out. Now they need this, they need that. if it is a person that, like how I was, I'm gonna be transparent, how I felt like when people weren't getting me, like most people, that's frustrating, but I would get angry, right? Because I couldn't emotionally regulate. So there were people in my life that went away as a result. There were people in my life that they weren't going to take that ish from me. So they were like, you're not going to talk to me no kind of way, or you're not going to be frustrated with me just because I didn't understand something you said. So we're done, or we don't talk as much as we used to. And I don't fault those people, because it's about being responsible and accountable. I was not good at that. And so the result was people don't talk to me like that no more, or they tread light with me. And that's fine. But I'm grateful for growth. We have to be able to move past when we're not when we make mistakes and we learn from them. And I can honestly say now that, okay, when I talk to people, I speak with them, and it is, I give myself a time limit. No more than 30, 45 minutes to an hour. Sometimes, child, if it's getting even to that, that's way too long. But if it's me having to flesh something out, I'm not doing it. I'm mindful of timing. I'm mindful of, I'm going to talk to God first. I'm going over a curve and all. I'm going to talk to God first. I can't expel so much energy. I'm looking for the valet people. I can't expend so much energy on the phone because, number one, I ain't got the time, right? Hold on. They're so sweet. Yeah, like, I'm mindful of time now, child. And like with my best friend, for example, right? She's got a lot going on just like I do in different ways, right? So if we get on the phone now, child, I might be going through something, and because I spend time processing on my own and talking to the Lord, I still give my insights, right? I still speak and I still express myself. But these days, when I do it, I've already, for the most part, taken my breather, taken a gather, and sometimes she's gonna get it raw and uncut, but I'm still cognizant of this is not her responsibility to have ears open for me for all this time. And it's also become emotionally unnecessary for me to just share all this stuff all in one piece. So, child, we be on the phone. I'll express myself. I'll be hurt. And at the end, I want to laugh. So we gonna be laughing. We're gonna have moments. I might shed some tears. She might vent about something. She might go off, and baby, when I tell you we are laughing in the end, or, if we have to get off the phone, we'll get off the phone, but then we send each other jokes. We're funny, this, that, and the third. And most of my friends, we have that dynamic. But I just wanted to come on here and just really reflect on how I've gotten better at talking to the Lord, emotionally regulating within myself, being a person that is if I need to speak on something, I need to speak on it. But being cognizant of time, energy, not being energy vampire, and also holding space for people the way that you would want people to hold space for you, but setting boundaries, because in the end, what it teaches people is how to emotionally regulate for themselves, right? It also reminds you that you need to do the same. But it's also a great balance of, I still need to vent. I still need people. We still need a community. So it's so important. What I mean? It is so important to do that. If you're not a Christian and you're not a follower of Christ, Trust me, I ain't perfect, child. Sometimes I'll be needing to wipe my mouth with soap because, you know, one thing that God's working on me with is the vulgarity, but I've gotten much better. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, God, I hear you, you're with me, and I understand, right? I understand how I need to come to you more often than I give it up to people, because at the end of the day, people are fickle. I'm a people. I'm fickle, and we can mishandle information, where God is just like, come to me, you know yourself, regulate within yourself. And it also takes wisdom to know who to talk to, who to speak with. And that's a video for another time. But the main point of this was having boundaries for yourself when it comes to communicating and holding space for people is the mark of maturity in true friendship. Tell me if you agree with that statement or not. If you watch this video and you hear what I'm saying and you agree, let me know in the chat. If you disagree, let me know in the chat. Just be respectful. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Peace.